Yo, what's going on? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah. What's up?
What's up? So, for those of you who wasn't aware, the the Trevor Baucom story got pushed back because once we looked over it, we feel we could have went in depth about some things, because I ain't no days off. We want to put out the best content possible.
That's right. Ain't no days off.
Ain't no days off. So yeah. So you want ready to get started? How you feeling?
Feeling good, man. Sorry for my attire.
Showed up to my studio and it just disrespect.
I ain't
just disrespected my studio. I guess cause it's in the living room. It ain't here. You see what I'm saying? If he was going downtown, he would have put the tie, the suit, the shirt. I guess.
I just want to be comfortable.
Oh, okay. I hear you. y'all gonna go for that too, ain't you? But it's okay though. Small beginnings.
Maybe I'll come back next time. I'll put on my best.
All right, y'all don't charge him for that. That's my boy. That's my boy. That's my dog right there. But yeah. So, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So, were there any specific events or experiences during your childhood that you believe contributed to your struggles with addiction?
And I would say absolutely. Especially the sexual traumas that happened as a young child. Like, and when I speak about this, it's not to attack or what that person did. It's always taught in recovery to put it back on myself. And what this is about is the way it made me feel. And the way I felt was disgusted. I felt ashamed. I felt less than, not adequate enough. I would never be man enough. And I spent the rest of my life trying to prove to myself that I was that man.
Okay. How old were you?
I was 8 years old.
This is when it happened?
This is when it started happening. It went on for, I would say, a year off and on.
Okay, off and on. Mm-hmm. All right. Can you share your experience of how the sexual abuse impacted your life?
I just think that it was the main thing that my disease gave me every day that fueled my excuses to continue to use, to continue to basically destroy my life. Like I said, it was that thing that I was taking to my grave. It was that thing. It was the thing that made me feel the worst about myself. You know what I mean?
Okay. How have your feelings about the abuse evolved over time?
I would say like now, I don't think about in recovery and doing the process and like doing steps and stuff like that. What I've learned is like this doesn't cycle through my head. It doesn't. It's not the thing I think about when I wake up in the morning. And that comes from the freedom of doing the process of working the steps.
So you say you don't think about it in the morning. Was there a time where after it happened or while it was happening that you couldn't stop thinking about it?
Oh, absolutely. I would think about it nonstop. It was like it was the one thing it was the one thought that pushed out all other thoughts.
The constant. Okay. All right. And in what ways do you feel the abuse has influenced your relationship and trust in others?
Well, for my entire life, I put up a wall, like, you're not gonna, nobody's gonna hurt me. Nobody's gonna do anything to me. Like, I will make sure that I hurt you first, or I will push myself away, or I will make you leave me or not have a relationship with me before I ever get involved, get intimate, tell somebody who I really am, or share those true feelings, because like I just didn't trust that people wanted my best interest, or that they wanted a true relationship from me.
Okay. All right.
I was young, like I was a young child, and I didn't realize, the things that were happening were not bad nor good to me. They were just things that happened, just things that that I did, you know, or that we did, me and this person, you know. And as I've gotten older, you know, my mind has changed a lot over what it was or what it wasn't. Could it have been this? Could it have been that? You know, but I know that 8-year-old, I really don't have concept of what any sexual relationship should be like. You know what I mean? Or what a man or woman or whoever should be doing, you know.
How has the abuse affected your self-esteem, and self-image?
I grew up with false ego and false pride. Like on the outside, you thought I was that dude, you know. Like I would make sure that I could fight good, I look good, I smell good, I had the nice shoes, but I felt like garbage on the inside, you know. So I'd always dress up the outside, but on the inside, I was miserable, and like I didn't like myself at all. I hated myself, and there was a lot of times in my life that I wanted to die.
Yeah, they say you can put lipstick on a pig and it's still a pig.
Yeah, right. That's right.
Okay. Have you sought professional help or therapy to address the impact of the abuse?
I've tried therapy and this and that, but you know, like what works for me is what I do, the program I work, you know,
Okay.
and talking to people that I have, you know.
Your circle.
My circle. Yes.
People you can talk to in private, and you don't have to worry about it being made public.
Yeah, and don't have to. And the thing is too, in working this recovery program, is even if they do make it public, it doesn't affect me anymore. Like I have trust in my God, and when I think about now, it's like what my God thinks about me, and that's what's most important. So like people let you down every day, and you might say something, it might get back to you, you know. But people have character defects as well, and you just gotta meet people where they're at.
Okay. But it's a different when you know who you are today, that changed the dynamics.
Absolutely.
Like when yeah, you got a past life, yeah, you done some things that may not look good, or yeah, you got a past life, but when you reach a point where can't nobody use that against you, you don't unlock. I remember when I first unlocked that level. That's a level of freedom.
It's freedom.
Like people think I got this on you or I got that. Really don't know you done the work, so you really ain't got nothing on you. You really ain't got nothing. You really ain't got nothing.
That's right, and that's the most important thing. Is like when you're free. What I'm saying is do the work, because once you're freed from it, once you're freed from whatever it is, you know, like it doesn't have a hold on you.
Yeah. And that's when you know when it don't got a hold on you. Like some people go to therapy, some people choose recovery, some people choose church. Like whatever you choose, when you reach that point where like my past is my past, you don't unlock that level. That way, because a lot of stuff hold you back from your full potential.
Absolutely.
But when you unlock that door where you can look somebody dead in the eyes like them, be like, you ain't got nothing on me. What you got? You don't reach the whole nother level, man. All right. So you ready?
I'm ready, man.
All right. What steps have you taken to heal and move forward from the abuse?
Definitely trusting in God. Like for me, I'm a big God guy, and like I don't mind sharing that. Like I said, but like I said, the steps, man, like working steps, man, like it's been the biggest gift to me. And I know when I came, it was like some cliche thing that people said, and I just thought it was like so. I'll just say it. I thought it was stupid. There's no way that this step process is going to help me be free from past abuses or past traumas or whatever it is. But what it did in doing it is it gave me a change of perception. The way I look at things are different. This might have happened to me, but I'm no longer a victim of the things that happen, you know?
All right. Are there any triggers or situations that still evoke strong emotional responses related to the abuse? Like, is there something like that when you see it or when you hear about it, it takes you back to that day as an 8-year-old boy?
Well, I mean, I guess anything to do with a minor child would affect the way that I mean, if I see something that has to do with this minor child or this or, I mean, like it always makes me think about it. And what I'm saying is I don't think I'll ever not think about it. But the way I think about it, the way I look at it,
Okay.
is completely different.
All right. How has the abuse affected your ability to form intimate relationships or engage in sexual activities?
Okay, yeah. So I hate it. Look, this might sound crazy, but I wasn't a big sex guy. Like, it made me feel icky. It made me feel, it made me have thoughts about other things, other sexual acts that had happened in my life. And, so really I would try to, like, if I were to have sex or have sex relations with somebody, I would try to get it done as quick, you know what I mean? And just make it like the short, I hated it. I hated it. But in doing this process and being honest with my circle, and that's also my girlfriend, and telling her things about my life and being able to watch her say, hey, it's no big deal. Like, that's what I needed to open up sexually.
So it wasn't no intimacy. It wasn't no intimacy. I want to get to know you and all that.
No.
It's like an event.
It was an event. Okay. Let's get it over with.
So what support system or resources have been helpful for you in your healing journey?
I guess just once again my circle. Most of all, like my sponsor. I don't have a lot of friends. Lewis is one of them. But my circle it's small, and a lot of people don't know a lot about me because I don't share a lot about my actual things that have happened to me. But I also believe that this is what I'm supposed to do.
So and y'all will hear about this tragedy later on. It's from a previous episode, but like I said, we running this. I'm doing this right here. It's gonna be titled "Unfinished Business," the Trevor Baucom story, because he talked about some things that I believe can help a lot of people. But instead of slowing down and talking about it like we doing today, we just question. So I wanted to run it back. And one of the things was about the death of your uncle.
Yes, absolutely.
Were y'all close?
Yes. It's had it on me right there, but R.I.P. Uncle Chuck. But yeah, that was like I said, my father was there, and not that my Uncle Chuck wasn't an addict or an alcoholic. It runs in the family. But I felt like he wanted me around, and he invited me to be a part of his life. And like whether he did drugs or drank or whatever, like he wanted me there. You know what I mean? And in no means am I bad mouthing my father. These are my truths. These things happen. You know what I mean? I love my dad, but my uncle was my hero. And that might be hard for my father to hear. But and if he could tell the story of the things I did to them as a grown up and active addiction, it might be hard for me to hear. But what I do believe is that in this healing process, also my family is being healed. And me and my father have had some great times now. But yeah, my uncle was the biggest part of my life that I lost at a young age, and at 9 years old. So like it was these sexual things and then it was at 9 years old, my uncle died.
Just back to back trauma.
Back to back. And when I say he died, and I said like I was on the back of the four-wheeler, and I said like he died not even a minute from the house I grew up in. Like I was the last person to speak to him. I got to tell him I loved him, and I realized as a grown man now that God gave me that opportunity, and that He knew that I would need it to get through my life. Because I don't know how I would have went through life if I wouldn't have got to speak to Him that last time. He was my best friend.
And how have your feelings about the loss evolved over time? Like I know when you first heard him as a child, 9-year-old child, when you hear about your hero, which was your Uncle Chuck, when you hear he passed, were you able to process it?
Absolutely not. I just wanted to hide, and I did. I spent a lot of times in the woods. I kind of like put myself in a fantasy. Like I would think about him as if he was still just down the hill. You know, like I can't go see him, but he's just down the hill.
Down the hill.
You know what I mean? And I lived in that fantasy for a long
time. So, what emotions do you feel when you think about your Uncle Chuck?
The one I feel the most is happiness.
Happiness?
He made me happy.
He did. So there's no grief?
I'm sad. I get sad when I think about the one I think about the most is like how he made me feel when he was alive. You know, but as I've gotten older, like I think I've grieved my uncle. I'll say I've grieved or this or that, but I miss him every day. I wish I could talk to him every day. You know.
So let's hear one story that you got. Let's hear a story.
Oh man. His favorite thing to do was like we would take the 4-wheeler and we would go through the we lived on about 15 acres or so, but he would take me through the woods and we would make these trails and like he would spend time with me. You know, like we would cut the 4-wheeler off and he would just ask me how I am, you know, and want to know like what was going on with me. You know, and he would always grab me by my head and give me a nugget and tell me how much he loved me. You know, and like I needed that. You know, go ahead. But you know, those are the experiences. You know, he used to slap box me. You know what I mean? Like UFC fights were like that was our time. Like, you know, the UFC pay-per-view back when they had the big satellites in the yard. You remember the big satellites? And I would go down there and he would put the pay-per-view on and me and him would bet money. You know what I mean? At like 7, 8 years old, of course he gave me the money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'm betting money on who's going to win. Like those are the times that I think about now. Monster Jam. Every year for my birthday, he took me to the Monster Jam in Charlotte.
Yeah.
It came around February. Every year, my birthday is February 12th. He would take off work. This would be our weekend, you know. And what I was looking forward to the most, sorry, I keep rambling about him, is he always went to NASCAR races, but I wasn't old enough yet because he went to the infield and they partied down, and he had the truck and I never got to make it to that, you know, because he died, and he left a 8-month baby behind, who is now my cousin Cody. And who is a grown man, and during my drug addiction, I ruined my relationship with him.
A lot of times, individuals blame themselves when a tragedy such as death happens to someone that's close to them. Was there ever a time that you blamed yourself?
I always wondered, why not me? You know, I don't know if I blame myself, but I always wondered why, or question my higher power, my God, like, why would you take this man away from his child in his 8 months? you know, old kid, and I, you know, of course, so I would delve into like what could. I think the fantasy was like I loved him so much that I would have traded places. You know what I mean? Like that's how much I looked up to this guy. Like I was willing to trade places so that he could be here. You know, that's the impact he had in my life.
Wow, yeah, that's a lot. Why not me?
Why not me?
Yeah. Are there any specific rituals or traditions that you engage in to honor the memory of your loved one?
You know, if I it's September 2nd, 1999, that's the day he died. I'll never forget it. I try to get to his grave, you know, if I can. You know, if I can't, like I'll sit quietly somewhere and I'll just tell him how my life is. I just and I just talk to him as if he's here. And I do that every year on his birthday and on the day he died.
Do you believe he know how your life is right now?
Absolutely. Not a doubt in my mind. I believe that if you believe what I believe, you know, Jesus Christ is my savior and that we go to heaven, like I absolutely believe that he can see what's going on.
Rest in peace, Uncle Chuck.
Rest in peace, Uncle.
Earlier, you said that Uncle Chuck, you need some napkins?
I'm good.
Earlier, you said that Uncle Chuck was your best friend.
Mm-hmm.
You said that you looked up to him.
Mm-hmm.
You said he was your hero.
Mm-hmm.
But you also had a father too.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you choose Uncle Chuck and not your father?
Man, that the way he treated, you know, love you, Dad, but the way he treated my mother, the way he treated us at times, you know, like I do love you, Daddy, but it wasn't good, you know, and I was just talking to my mom today about I would feel bad as I got older, how I would be aggressive towards my father, you know, and like I would feel bad that my dad would be around, right? And I would go back to my room, or even as an adult now, like I would go visit my father, and all I'd want to do is leave, you know, because I love my dad. But like the last 2 visits I've had with my father since this recovery process, and since like my dad's working on himself and I'm working on myself, have been amazing. I've had the best time, and that's what I told Frida the other day. It's like I finally got what I wanted. I spent the weekend with my dad this weekend, and I had a great time. We hung out, and we argued a little bit. We always do, you know. But I'm just as much a trigger for my father as he is for me. We used together, you know, and just wasn't somebody at that time that I could look up to.
Okay, where it was so you went through all this trauma as a child and you didn't see there was no like professional help or anything.
Like, you know, they put me in school counseling, and like I said, I had the behavioral health that I got prescribed my Adderall at, you know, and I mean, and I was angry, you know. I didn't care what these people had to say or what they wanted me to talk about. Yeah. They weren't living my life. They didn't know what was going on in my household with my family. They knew nothing, because you know why? Because I wouldn't tell them. You know what I mean? I wasn't willing. What I'm not willing to do as a child, and I don't know, is like I just wasn't willing to break my family up at all costs. It didn't matter to me. Like it didn't matter how much drinking or drugging or this was happening or that. Like I love my family. You know? And I wouldn't change it. Like I believe everything has to happen exactly the way it happens for me to get to exactly where I am right
Where are you right now?
now. Saturday I'll have 9 months clean. I am a productive member of society. Like I have honor today, loyalty. I'm loving. I'm passionate. Like I care what about other people. Like today, I am the complete opposite of what I've always been, which was angry, lying, manipulating, sad, depressed, suicidal. Like today is a complete 180 of my previous past 24 years, 25 years on this earth, and in 9 months, you know, the work is hard, but it's very simple. In 9 months, this is how far God has brought me. And I cry so much now. I think like I'm a little girl, you know, because like I cry because I'm grateful.
Grateful.
Like you said, sometimes there is no words to express how you feel. And I just cry because I'm grateful. I'm grateful that God picked me and chose me just like he'll choose you. And he picked me up and he put me on some solid ground. And he said, if you trust me, I'll help you. He hadn't let me down.
So, how do you remain grateful on a daily basis?
Uh, think about, for me, my first prayer is, God, remind me of what it's like to be separated from you. And that's how I remain grateful. Because anything prior to me really seeking a relationship with my higher power was shit. Excuse my language. You can edit it out into it. But it was. It didn't matter if I had got 30 days clean, or I got the job, or I got the car, or the motorcycle, or the watch, or the shoes. None of it mattered because I was empty inside. And that's the thing, is we're all trying to fill a God-sized hole. And you can't.
And you was talking about that earlier, because we can get the money, we can get the shoes, the houses, the relationship, the family, the bank account. But when you broken, don't none of that stuff really.
It don't matter.
When you broken, don't none of that stuff really matter.
Mm-hmm. It also made me feel, I'll tell you what it did to me. It made me feel more miserable. How can I have all this stuff? How could I get to this point? How could I, you know what I mean? And still not be, you know what I mean? Like how, and I'm still not happy.
And the first time we sat down, we talked about you tried to kill yourself.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Commit suicide.
Absolutely.
What was running through your head? If you remember,
I do.
What was running through your head? I think January the 3rd, February the 3rd, when you tried to commit suicide.
And this is it. I can tell you the exact conversation I have with my disease, but the thought was, I want to stop, but I can't. This is just the way I'll be. These are the thoughts that went through my head. I'm not willing to go back to prison. I'm not willing to tell my son I failed again. I'm not willing to put my mama through the hurt and the pain. I'm not willing to destroy Frida's life anymore. I'm not willing to lie to my nieces and nephews and pretend to be somebody. They'll all be better in time. It's going to hurt at first. These are my thoughts. But in time, they'll be okay, and I'll be no longer causing a problem in their life. And on the way to get the dope, I remember telling my disease, I said it out loud. I said, you want to use? This is the last time you'll use.
And I don't know. And when you say you remember telling your disease, you're talking to
I call it my spiritual disease. It's real to me. Like you know, sin nature, whatever you want to call it, addiction, spiritual disease. There's many paths to recovery. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is like the thing inside of me that is different from who's sitting here today is a real thing, and it lives inside of me. It lives in my thoughts. It lies to me constantly.
So you're having this conversation with your addiction disease. Your addiction is addiction is the disease. So you're having this conversation on your way to cop.
On my way to cop.
Had you already contemplated suicide?
Absolutely. I knew what I was going to get. I knew how much I was going to use. I knew what it was going to take, but I did way more than was needed.
And in that conscience that we have, you know, you got the addiction on one shoulder, and you have been in recovery, so you got that here. But why didn't the recovery take over and be like, just get back? Or where was that God conscience?
Because my God consciousness was so quenched. Like I didn't hear. Like that's the thing I think about today, and I'm so grateful for, and I cry about it too. Is I couldn't hear God anymore. I didn't hear my God consciousness anymore. All I heard was the lies. All I heard was the negativity. I just wanted it to stop, you know, and I was gonna make it stop. Like I thought God, you know, I realized that I turned my back, you know, but I thought God just didn't want anything to do with me. He didn't want to speak to me anymore. He had nothing left to say to me.
So you cop.
Absolutely.
Get back in your vehicle, and you going back to where home.
That's right.
And are you still talking to your disease, or have you made up in your mind what is your disease? What is your mind telling you?
It's funny, right? Because like people say the disease wants you dead, and I believe that's the long-term goal. But mine just wanted me miserable, right? Mine just wanted me at the lowest point and wanted to keep me there. Like, you know, like it didn't want me. It might have wanted me dead eventually, but it just wanted me to sit in this and feed off this misery, you know. And I think that that on the way home, I already knew what was happening. I already knew what was going on. So like now the thought that pushes all other thoughts out is how I'm going to make it happen when I get back. And I start planning.
So now you go in the house, you get your stuff together.
Yeah. My roommates were leaving. One was going to Charleston. He had already left. And one was going out for the night. And I put Walking Dead on because the death growl of the zombies, like, you know, that like they do, and I put it to the part where it was a big long scene, and I turned it up, and then I did what I knew was gonna work. And,
you did a shot.
I you know, that's the thing is I snorted a little bit first because I was gonna snort. I was just gonna snort it all. You know what I mean? And then yeah, I worked it up, and I shot it. And that's the last thing that I remember.
But the last thing you remember.
That's the last thing I remember. Just putting it in.
Jails, institutions, and death.
That's it. And I have now experienced pretty much all three. Now God gave me another chance, and I don't believe I was supposed to come back, except for God. You know, like the story that was told to me, and how many times they Narcan me, and chest compressions, and like you know, and the crazy thing is like it's not important who, but if they didn't show up that night, the ambulance didn't get there till after I was awake.
You just say you weren't supposed to be here. You do supposed to be here. You here?
Yeah. Well, what I mean is like Trevor, my disease of addiction, that Trevor didn't want to be here. And when I woke up, it's not like I had some crazy experience or anything like that. But when I woke up, something inside of me for the first time in my life said, I actually wanted to live. Because if this is what it brought me to, like if this is where I was at, right? Like, and it's crazy. And it's, I call my mom and I tell my mom what happened. And my mom laughs, and she's not laughing at me, but she laughs. And then she says, I told you God's got you. You can't even kill yourself. She said, there's something better for you.
Legal message.
For real, give yourself a chance, man. Welcome to recovery. The answer is God. And I hope you get there. Whenever you get there, like I hope people in recovery can entertain you. I hope you can have a real experience, and the experience that I had was it wasn't very long. It wasn't a very long period of time, but it was the first time in my life that I felt a glimpse of what it could be. And I've moved forward towards that. And I look back and I see everything along the way that God has done for me. Even when I thought God wasn't there, like now I realize like those were the times he was there the most. And nothing a human has done to anybody or any trauma that you've experienced is like an end factor, like humans are human. And we hold people to a standard that they can't be. Nobody's a God except for God. So you can't hold people to a standard. You got to move past things and focus on positivity, loving, caring, and kind. That's what's been most important for me. And I'm not perfect. I mess up every day with my anger or this and that, but I have something now that I rely on most, and that's God for me.
And thank all of y'all for tuning in to Ain't No Days Off podcast.
Thank y'all, for real. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Lewis. I love you, brother. Right. You're amazing.
Man, give yourself a break.
Give yourself a break.
And if you make it to this part of the video, please like, share, follow me on YouTube and TikTok, and have a great whatever part of the day it is. Bye.
Bye. I hope that went well.
It went pretty good.
You like that?
I think it went pretty good. Because what it is the honesty.
That's all I got. That's what I do before I come here. Just pray God, just help me.
Yeah, it just be the honesty, man. People want to hear honesty, man. Don't nobody. And that's what I want to deliver. Especially when you deliver it, because that's all we got is our story. We got our stories, and who would ever thought that a story that's so grimy and dirty,
that's right,
could heal.
That's right, could heal. But that's the thing I try to get people to realize. Like, we don't heal it. We put in work. You know what I mean? And we show up. God heals. The perception, right? But the only person who can make you look at something different is God.
Something so grimy and dirty like that, man. Man, that was good. I think it was good, though.
I hope so. I hope so. Let's watch a snippet of it. And then I'll leave you alone.